Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be reading The Paper Crane by Molly Bang. But first, Miss Abercrombie is going to read us a little summary on the back of the story.
So the summary says, the man is proud of his busy roadside diner, but since a new highway replaced the old road, few customers stop anymore to rest and eat. One day, a poor, ragged stranger appears, and the man feeds him generously. For his kindness, the stranger gives him a gift that will change his fortunes, a magical paper crane.
Now, before we continue reading, I want you to think about what you wonder is going to happen in this story. So you can pause the video and talk to your reading buddy or think to yourself of what's going to happen and what you wonder about. Once you have unpaused, Miss Abercrombie will continue reading.
And before I start, I want to tell you a little bit more about what a crane is. A crane is a kind of bird, and in the book, on this page, in the story, there is a stranger who folds a piece of paper into the shape of a bird. And that bird is right there. Okay. The paper crane. A man once owned a restaurant on a busy road. He loved to cook good food and he loved to serve it. He worked from morning until night and he was happy. But a new highway, that's the main road, but a new highway was built close by. Travelers drove straight from one place to another and no longer stopped at the restaurant. Many days went by when no guests came at all. The man became very poor and had nothing to do but dust and polish his empty plates and tables. One evening, a stranger came into the restaurant. His clothes were old and worn, but he had an unusual, gentle manner. A manner is a way of behaving, an unusual, gentle manner. Though he said he had no money to pay for food, the owner invited him to sit down. He cooked the best meal he could make and served him like a king. When the stranger had finished, he said to his host, a host is the person who welcomes their guests into their home or into their shop. When the stranger had finished, he said to his host, I cannot pay you with money, but I would like to thank you in my own way. He picked up a paper napkin from the table and folded it into the shape of a crane. Remember, a crane's a type of bird, into the shape of a crane. You have to only clap your hands, he said, and this bird will come to life and dance for you. Take it and enjoy it while it is with you. With these words, the stranger left. Now, Miss Sneep has a question for you.
Yes. So now that we've read the beginning of our story, I want you to think about what you are wondering about. What are the characters doing? What is going to happen next? So with that, you can pause your video and talk to your reading buddy or think to yourself. Now that you have spent some time wondering, Miss Schwab is going to read what happens next.
It happened just as the stranger had said. The owner only had to clap his hands, and the paper crane became a living bird, flew down to the floor, and danced. Soon word of the dancing crane spread, and people came from far and near to see the magic bird perform. The owner was happy again, for his restaurant was always full of guests. He cooked and served and had company from morning until night. I was like, fun. The weeks passed and the months. One evening, a man came into the restaurant. His clothes were old and worn, but he had an unusual gentle manner. The owner knew him at once and was overjoyed. Hey, Mrs. Murphy, do you want to finish the book for us?
Does Miss Sneap have any more questions for us about this page?
I do. I have one more question.
Oh my goodness.
Again, we are going to wonder what's going to happen next. So before Miss Murphy finishes our story, I want you to again press pause, talk to your reading buddy, or think to yourself about what is going to happen at the end of our story. What will happen to the characters and what will they do next? Now that you have thought about that, Miss Murphy will wrap up our story and we will see how everything will end.
Okay, here we go. The stranger, however, said nothing. He took a flute from his pocket, raised it to his lips, and began to play. The crane flew down from its place on the shelf and danced as it had never danced before. The stranger finished playing, lowered the flute from his lips, and returned it to his pocket. He climbed on the back of the crane, and they flew out of the door and away. The restaurant still stands by the side of the road, and guests still come to eat the good food and hear the story of the gentle stranger and the magic crane made from a paper napkin. But neither the stranger nor the dancing crane has ever been seen again. And then there's a final picture on the end. And it's of one of the characters playing a flute. So there is a lot to wonder about in the ending of this story as well. So make sure you take a minute to wonder about what the ending of that story means or what you might think would happen next. And then I have one more important question for you about this story. And it's, what do you think the author, Molly Bang, is trying to tell us through this story? What's the important message or lesson she wants you to learn from this book? Thanks for listening today.